Good Friday afternoon, everybody. It's been a couple of days since I've been on here. I'm coming to you today to talk about the latest weather update and what the possibilities are coming up for Knoxville, the Southeast, and everything in between. Anyway, today's video is brought to you by Knoxville Complete Auto Care, your one-stop auto shop. Is your car ready for winter weather? With the upcoming severe cold temperatures, you need to come by Knoxville and get a free antifreeze check to make sure that your radiator, engine block, or anything else to do with your coolant doesn't bust. If you don't know what your coolant will hold, your antifreeze will hold down to in these freezing temperatures we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. Stop in today, have the ASE certified technicians check your car. We're located at 4701 Clinton Highway in Knoxville, Tennessee, on the web at knoxhorizon.com, or you can give us a call at 865-219-6999. Also brought to you by M-Body Healthcare. M-Body Healthcare is direct primary medical practice in Knoxville, Tennessee, where you can save time and take back control of your health with a provider you have access to when you need them, and that can give you the time your health deserves. My very first appointment with them was over an hour of undivided attention that was just focused on me. So they don't spend 8 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes with you only to throw a bunch of pills at you and go. They really are focused on your health. But by removing the middleman, the insurance company, they're restoring the doctor-patient connection. We're their patients, and they've improved our overall health, and a lot of our employees at Knox Horizon go to them. You can find out more today at mbodyhealthcare.com. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about today. Today in Knoxville, the high was supposed to be 51. I checked a minute ago at the airport. It is currently 54 degrees, so we've had a little warm-up. That's why the weather that's coming tomorrow is going to be rain. So Saturday, we're going to have rain off and on all day. Shouldn't have any frozen precipitation at all. It should all be rain. It's just going to be a messy, rainy winter day. Highs are still expected to be in the upper 40s, so no danger of any snow and ice tomorrow. Now, what's interesting is, looking at the weather models over the past few days, I've noticed a little, which nobody's been talking about, this little back end snow as a cold front comes through. And nobody's been talking about that, because right behind this, the cold front's going to come through and usher in some bitterly cold air, the coldest that we've seen this season. And National Weather Service at Morristown just issued a statement just a little bit ago, which we're going to get into, and this is for Sunday. You can see here on this model, though, before we get there, you can see that back-end snow that's just showing up on this model. So again, National Weather Service at Morristown just issued the percent chance of 1 inch snowfall or more for around every area, and this is valid from 1 a.m. Sunday morning, January 19th, through 1 a.m. Monday morning, January 20th. And this is after that cold front goes through and the bitterly cold air comes in, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But in Knoxville, we have a 41% chance of seeing 1 inch of snowfall or more. As you go further east and north, the chances go up. I mean, Kingsport, 61%. You go up into Virginia, and you're talking about the 80s and 90%. Further south in Southern Valley and stuff, the chances go down. Gatlinburg, 57% chance. So that wasn't showing up anywhere, and nobody was really talking about this, but that is this Sunday, January 19th, into Monday morning, the 20th. And, I've just been watching things. There's been a lot of people. You've seen a lot of, probably if you've been online, seen a lot of fantastical forecasting stuff for this upcoming week. And I've kind of kept quiet because none of the models have agreed with anything. So now we're 2 days out from this scenario, and we could end up having 1 inch or more of snowfall here in Knoxville. Now I'll show you kind of what the prediction is here. Knoxville, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Morristown, 1 to 2. And a whole lot of other places, 1 to 2. Gatlinburg in the mountains, 2 to 3. So we definitely could have some snowfall in the East Tennessee area Sunday into Monday morning. And the cold air is going to, at that point, be in place. So that's something that hasn't been showing up, but be prepared. Don't be scared. It's not going to be a big event. if we get anything at all. I think a lot of it, because we're going to have the warm temperatures today and tomorrow, so it'll take some time for the roads to cool down. So I think a lot of it will be on the grassy areas here in Knoxville. Of course, you never know. The weather, as we've seen, is very unpredictable and hard to know for sure what's going on. So, but something to be aware of. If we have anything significant, yes, I will be out chasing the storm, bringing you the latest road conditions live, and let you guys know what's going on. Pardon me. So let's talk about it. Next week, the one thing that everybody can agree on is we're going to be below normal in our temperatures. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook from the from NOAA, and this is valid the 22nd through the 26th. So Wednesday through through next Sunday, and you can tell we're going to be very below on our temperatures. Now, what about the precipitation outlook during that? Here in East Tennessee and Knoxville and most of Tennessee, we're going to be near normal. Above normal below us to the south, and that's very important to know what's coming up. So let's look at the 8 to 14 day. 8 to 14 day, we are still going to be below normal on the temperatures. Not as cold as what we're going to be this next week. It will moderate some, but we're still going to be cold through the end of January. And as far as precipitation, above normal in most of the southeast in this area. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have the cold air in place, and any winter weather, any precipitation that comes is probably going to be in the form of winter weather. Now, let's talk about those temperatures coming up. This Monday, January 20th, our high temperature forecast, 23 degrees in Knoxville. We've not seen this cold in a while. 20 in Morristown. We're going to be in the low 20s to upper teens around most of the area here in East Tennessee. The low Sunday night going into Monday morning. When you wake up Monday morning, 11 degrees is the forecast temperature here in Knoxville. And everybody around us is basically in the single digits. Gatlinburg, 6 degrees. Morristown, 9 degrees. 7 degrees in La Follette. 9 degrees in Kingston. So Knoxville is actually one of the warmest spots, unless you go down Chattanooga, which is 12 degrees, 1 degree more than ours. So the temperatures are bad enough on Monday. What are the wind chills going to be? So in Knoxville, it's going to feel like 4 degrees. Morristown, -1. Tazewell, -3. As you can see, the cold air is the one thing everybody can agree on, that it is going to be bitterly cold. So wrap up, be prepared, don't be scared. Now let's talk about what's coming next week with the first storm that's coming through. And the timing is somewhere Tuesday into Wednesday right now is what most models do. This is the GFS ensemble model. And I can tell you now that the Euro, and the Canadian model do not agree. So I'm going to show you this one. I'm going to talk about the rest of them, but anybody that tells you they know exactly what that storm's going to do when we're talking about 5 to 6 days out, they're lying to you, point blank. This is a very likely scenario that this next storm is going to be to the south, and that Tennessee won't see anything. But it would only take a shift a little bit, 100 miles north, 100 miles south to change the entire thing of this. And again, we're talking about 5 to 6 days out, guys. Nobody can tell you for sure what's going to do, because like I said, the one snow stuff now that we're talking about the possibility of it coming on Sunday here, nobody's been talking about that. Nobody's been talking about winter weather here for this weekend at all. And boom, here we are 2 days out and it popped up. So don't just look at this model and say this is what's going to happen, because it's not. And it's way too far out to talk about how much snow, ice, sleet accumulations there might be. But in the next slide, just to let you know, here's the probability of the day 5 potential of melted ice, snow, sleet. If this were to happen, and it was to shift this far, the highest probability is right along the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. I believe if the storm plays out and it has the moisture to work with, the cold air is going to be in place. If that was the one that comes out, it could be historic snowfalls for the for the East Coast. Will it play out exactly like that? No. This model is going to change, and a lot of things are going to change back and forth throughout this entire thing. So don't let this scare you. Don't let it. Take this as gospel. It's just one of those things. It's one of the models. It's showing some, and it's so far out to the next one. Toward the end of next week, there's another model showing that the whole southeast could get a winter storm. But we're talking about over a week out. It's too far to go out and say this is what's going to happen. Now, to tell you about the other models, like I say, the Euro's got a little different track on this storm. The Canadian models shows most of the southeast out of this storm we're looking at right now. The Canadian model shows almost everybody in the southeast having snow in winter weather. So the models don't agree yet. Most people are showing you this one, or they're just showing you the Canadian, or they're just showing you whatever and saying this is what's going to happen. I can tell you now, with 5 to 6 days out, nobody knows for sure what the track of this storm is, how much moisture it's going to have to do with it, and a lot of it depends. Does the cold air push as far south as what they're saying? Does it stay farther north? Does it stay farther east, west, whatever? Any little shift in these tracks can definitely cause different precipitation than what we're seeing. But that's my update for today, guys, and I hope that's been informative. I'm not a meteorologist, but I try to let you guys know what I see based on the study that I've done, these models and stuff, and listening to a lot of great experts out there and what they do have to say. But again, anybody that's trying to tell you what it's going to do next week for the storm that's probably coming to the southeast, nobody can tell you 100% right now what it's going to do. We're talking about 5 to 6 days out, and the one after that that's kind of showing up on the back end on the long-range models, nobody can really tell you what that one's going to do. So again, this weekend, possibility now of 1 inch or more of snow here in Knoxville and East Tennessee. If it happens, I will be out bringing you the road conditions and everything live, just like I did in the past storm. If you're new to the channel, I ask that you would subscribe, hit that like button. Feel free to share this video, and if you want to know when I go live, if I go live this weekend, hit that notification bell to be notified. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Don't forget, if you're here in Knoxville, stop by Knoxville Rising Complete Auto Center. Let them check that antifreeze to make sure you don't have any problems from the cold air that's coming up. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic rest of your afternoon, a great weekend, and I may see you Sunday on here live.